Hello and welcome to those of you who are joining me live, and hello to everybody who is watching the replay. So today I am going to be talking to you about the 5 different types of boundaries that you need to set this holiday season in order to move through it feeling emotionally regulated, rested, and yes, even relaxed. It is possible. So what I'm going to be doing is I am going to run through the quick high-level overview of what boundaries are and what they're not. And then I'm going to move into the 5 types of boundaries that you need to set and what they look like. And then to finish off, I will be telling you a little bit more about my upcoming free masterclass that really dives into this topic with a lot more depth. So let's get started. What is a boundary? Now, it's really important to know that a boundary is not an ultimatum. A boundary is you setting a really clear rules and terms around how you expect people to interact with you. It's setting the ground for a healthy interrelationship between you and others and you and yourself. So a boundary comes from a place of setting a personal power. So you're using your power to say, this is what I expect. This is how I expect to be treated. Ultimatums tend to come from more of a space of, I want to change somebody. I don't like how this is happening. You need to do this in order for me to feel. Whereas a boundary is saying, this is what I need. If you can't meet that need, this is the actions I'm going to take to make myself feel safe. So that's a quick high-level overview of what the difference is between a boundary and an ultimatum. So in terms of the 5 boundaries you need to set this holiday season, the 5 are boundaries with yourself, boundaries with others, boundaries with time, boundaries with topics, and boundaries with budget. So when I'm talking about boundaries with self, this could be something as simple as boundaries with the types of food you want to eat when you go to the various events that you have to go to. It could be boundaries around alcohol and how much or how little you want to consume. So I know going to a lot of corporate events, especially around the holidays, if I'm standing around without a drink in my hand, I can feel quite a lot of pressure from colleagues. Oh, why aren't you drinking? What's going on? Oh no, have a drink, have another one. I'm buying around. Especially when the corporate credit card comes out and they're like, well, you're not even paying for it, so just have another drink. And let's say you've got a full day of shopping with your kids the next day, the last thing you want to be doing is going into that hungover. So getting really clear about what your boundaries are for yourself, what you have coming up, and how the energy you want to be in as you move into those spaces will really help you navigate when you set a boundary and say, no, thanks for the offer, but I'm not going to be drinking, or set in place tools and other outcomes to help you navigate those conversations. It could also be around the support you need. So when we're setting a boundary with ourselves, let's say we're hosting Christmas dinner this year, and it can be very easy to say, yep, I'll do it all. Whereas in fact, what you really need is to feel supported by your partner or your children, and setting some ground rules around what you expect is really important to help you support yourself through that, because it can be quite taxing and it can be really overwhelming. So that's what boundaries with self looks like. Boundaries with others. Now this is around how you expect to be treated by other people. Around the holidays, there can be a lot of expectations from our family around showing up, being present at different events. And if we have a partner, that means juggling 2 sets of families that are expecting very different levels of commitment from us. And it can be overwhelming. So really knowing how much energy you have for those various events, but also sometimes we don't get to choose who our family, or we don't get to choose who our colleagues are. And if we end up in situations where we're really feeling uncomfortable, for example, you have a colleague who tends to drink a lot when they go out, and then they get really emotional and it becomes a big drama, and every time you're the one who ends up responsible for getting them home safely. Happened to me before. That can be really overwhelming and can be really frustrating. So if you know that's not what you want to be doing, setting a boundary with that person is really important. So you can say to that person, hey, listen, love hanging out with you. I feel really overwhelmed when you drink a lot, and I feel really responsible for getting you home safely. If you're going to be drinking a lot this time, I'm really sorry. I'm not really interested in coming out, but thanks for the invite. That's all you need to say. So when it comes to the next boundary, it's a boundary around time. So what this looks like is when we've got a calendar that keeps getting packed with things that we need to do. People are demanding us to go to family events and to juggle, catch up with friends and to attend one client networking function after another because it's the holidays and we need to be showing face, especially if you're in a position of leadership. There's an expectation that you attend multiple events, and it can get really overwhelming because you're trying to juggle your own commitments, chores that you need to do in order to get ready for the holidays, and there's a lot going on. So time is really important. You need to really identify how you choose your time, where you spend your time, and it's okay if you come to a party at a certain time and leave early. It's okay to come in late and leave after a few hours. You don't have to stay for the whole event. You don't have to drive people. If you've got family that may be asking you to spend New Year's Eve with them, but it's really important for you to spend the day or the evening out with your friends at a party or an event that you really want to go to, then creating those clear boundaries and saying, listen, thank you for the invite, but it's really important to me to spend New Year's Eve with my friends. I will see you on New Year's Day and we can hang out then. Those are boundaries that you can set, and those are meeting your needs, but also creating a really clear expectation with the people that you love so that they know where you stand on certain topics, which is a great segue. Because when it comes to topics, this can be really confrontational for a lot of people moving into the holidays. We get asked questions that are sometimes really personal and off limits, and for some reason people think it's okay to ask us those questions. So this could be around our relationship status. This could be around whether or not we're having children or when we're having children, which can be obviously for a lot of people a very personal topic and something that we really don't want to share with work colleagues and sometimes with certain family members. It could even be around something like politics, because sometimes we have certain family members that have very different views on politics, and it can create a lot of tension, and that's not the energy we want to be in when we're celebrating. So how do you navigate that? Setting boundaries around topics that you're comfortable discussing and topics that you just are off limits is really important. So when you know and you have clarity about what you're willing to discuss, with who you're willing to discuss it, and how deep you're willing to go on certain topics, you can navigate those situations as and when they arise when you're at different events. So a boundary around a topic could be, hey, Uncle Sam, really love hanging out with you. I know we have very different views on politics. Be really great if we can just avoid that topic. If you want to bring it up, I'm just going to move away and go and speak to some other people. It's not something I want to discuss. Or, hey, Mum and Dad, thanks for being so interested in my personal life. It's not something I really want to discuss with you. My relationship status right now is something that I'm keeping to myself. If I want to share it at some later point, I will share it with you. But for now, I'd really appreciate if you don't bring it up, especially in public. these are just really quick off the top of my head scripts that you can use to set boundaries around topics, and obviously you can adjust this as and when the situation arises. So for example, at work you might be getting this it's happened to me before, but you're so gorgeous, how come you're not dating? A quick witty response that I now give is because I have standards. And navigating that can be really awkward, because sometimes it could be, you know, a colleague who's at the same level as you and you don't quite know how to respond because it's personal. You don't really want to talk about your dating life at work. And just having a script of things that you can respond with can be really empowering for you, so that you feel confident to navigate those conversations as and when they arise. So the last one is around a budget. Now, I think this is one of the most important topics we can talk about. Having boundaries around our budgets on the holidays is so vital, especially because there's a lot of expectations. Let's be real here. We live in a very commercial society, and Christmas and the holidays have become very commercialized and very much about what we buy and how much we spend, and it can get overwhelming. And a lot of these events that we're going to can cost money. And if we've got a budget and we're working towards saving for a house, or we don't actually just want to spend that much on crap, then having a real clear idea of what your budget is and setting boundaries around what you're willing to spend is super important, because it also helps you feel really empowered to avoid overwhelm when you overspend, or what's the point of going into debt over one day? So when it can come to a situation around budgetary boundaries, it could be the office Secret Santa. Maybe you don't want to participate this year because you don't want to spend $50 on somebody you don't really know. So politely opting out from that is well within your rights and a boundary that you can set. When it comes to buying presents for everybody this year, you can quite easily say, hey, listen, I would much prefer doing a Secret Santa. I've got a budget this year, so it'd be really great if we can do that. I don't feel like I could, I don't feel like I want to buy for everybody, and it gets a bit overwhelming. What do you guys think? If it comes to events, so some certain events that your friends might be going to and asking you to come along to might cost a certain amount. Could be like $150 for a dinner, and you're like, you know what, I don't want to spend that. You can quite easily say, thanks for the invite. I really appreciate it. At this time, I'm gonna turn that down because I'm trying to keep an eye on my budget at the moment, and that's just a little bit too much out of my budget right now. Would be great to catch up and have a drink with you on another time. So those are just some examples of how you can set budgets and as to how you can set boundaries around your budget. So now that I've run you through budgets and boundaries, I'm really stuck on budgets right now. Now that I've run you through boundaries and how you can set these boundaries on the various topics, whether it's with yourself, with others, with the time you spend, with the topics you discuss, or your budget, you might be in one or two camps. You might be thinking, great, now I've got some clarity around the boundaries I need to think about. Happy to go ahead and set those. Fantastic. Or you might be feeling like super pumped that you can set these boundaries, but you know this has been the missing piece. You are feeling like tired or feeling burned out and overwhelmed around the holiday seasons. You're ready to set these boundaries, but you don't really know where to start or how to set them. Then this is for you. I've got an upcoming masterclass that is really about how you can set work and life boundaries, and it is completely free. This masterclass is for you if you're really ready to reclaim your mental health this holiday season. It is a gift for you. If you're sick of feeling burned out and drained over the holidays, if you're sick of coming to Christmas Day feeling just absolutely wrecked and like you need 2 months to recover, then join me on the 7th of December for this absolutely free masterclass. And in this masterclass, I will teach you how to identify what type of boundaries you need to set and when to set them, how to hold your boundaries with confidence when you are challenged on those boundaries, how to respond when you get pushback on certain boundaries, how you can regulate your nervous system so you can move through these conversations with a sense of ease and calm. And the types of exercises, the regulation exercises you can use before, during, and after events that you go to, so that you can really come into these spaces and move out of these spaces and bring yourself back into an emotionally regulated state once those are over. So out of this, you will get a detailed workbook that you can work through. It will have scripts that you can use and a layout of the exercises that you need to move through all of these boundary setting events, because it can be quite challenging, especially if you're a people pleaser and you haven't set boundaries before. And it's also going to have a recording so that you can access it for up to 3 weeks after the live event. That way you can go back, listen over it, and find the tweaks and the gems that are really important for you to help you move through with confidence and set these boundaries in a way that feels good for you, that makes you feel really empowered, that gives you that strength and that confidence to navigate the conversations with friends, family, and colleagues. So this is my gift to you this holiday season. Join me for this free 90-minute masterclass. I will share the link in the next slide or in the comments. The link is in my bio. I hope this has been really clear for you and given you some real clear insights about what boundaries around the holidays look like and what type of boundaries you need to set to help you feel really emotionally regulated, rested, and relaxed this holiday season. Thanks for joining me. See you soon. Bye.